So, welcome to the BTS video for our Through Andalusia road trip. As you can see, Kat and I are here back in Berlin, and we're actually sitting on Museum Insel, which is a beautiful place, but today happens to be
pre-museum Sunday, so it's very busy.
So it's super busy, and we're just gonna try to wing this and see how it goes. I figured what we would do is sort of break down each day, go in depth a little bit more on where we stayed, some of the really great places that we ate at, and some vital information that you may or may not want if you're trying to plan your own little trip through Andalusia. So why don't you start off by talking us through the first day?
Yeah, we flew into Malaga and we arrived quite late in the night even, and we just decided to stay at the Malaga Nostrum airport hotel, which was like, I would say a 10-minute cab ride from the airport.
Yeah, it was like a bit of a weird hotel. It was like a little casino hotel, but because it was so close to the airport and the most affordable, it was like the perfect place for us.
Yeah.
The rooms were actually pretty nice, and they had a little patio where I did that intro scene, and it was perfect to film that.
Yeah, and we needed to pick up our car the next day at the airport, so the smartest was to stay close to the airport.
Yeah, and speaking of the car that we ended up picking was the gold car. When you're traveling through Portugal or Spain or I think maybe even Italy, gold car is our first choice because they have an option for what is it called? Key and Go.
Key and Go, yeah.
And you just pay one price. We paid about 280 euros, and it covered full insurance, everything. And it was so convenient because what you can do is you can walk up to the key box, punch in your PIN at your rental time, and the key drops out, tells you where your car is, in which stall it's parked, and you grab it, and there's no paperwork, nothing.
Best experience ever.
And to drop it off, it's even better. You literally just drop it off in the key drop box at your drop-off time, and you're good to go. And if you are running a little late, I think they give you a 30-minute grace period, which is super awesome. And we didn't talk to anyone. We were in and out. When we went to pick up the car, there was a huge lineup of people at the airport, and we walked past all of them. It was literally under, I'm not even joking, 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was the best experience.
Because you're fully covered and your rate is a little bit higher, you don't even have to do a deposit. You do have to give a deposit for the gas, which is 150 euros. So if you fill up your tank before you return the car, they give it back to you. Yeah. After we got the car, we quickly filmed some of those little sequences going into the car. I used my suitcase for a lot of the scenes because it was easy to plop the camera onto that and then roll it around. Speaking of cameras, before we talk about the rest of the trip, let's talk about what I used for my camera gear. I went really light. I went with the Leica Deluxe 8, which I'm filming on right now, and I'm actually monitoring it all on the Leica Photos app so we can check our framing and everything. And it actually worked out really, really, really well. The other camera that I use a lot for the more smooth tracking shots was the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I've been loving. And that was basically the two main cameras. For a few shots, I had to use the iPhone, and I shot it in Apple ProRes log because the Leica is only 24 millimeters and the Osmo Pocket is only 20 millimeters. And in some of the tight spaces, like in the Real and the Alhambra, it was a little bit tight, so I really needed to use the 13 millimeter lens from the iPhone, and it worked out perfectly. And I'll throw in some of the shots that I did for that one.
Yeah, and once we had picked up the car, we decided to drive to Nerja, which is a coastal town just an hour.
Yeah, we described it in the video.
Walked around, found great parking right downtown. It's called Parking Carabeo.
Yep, and it was pretty cheap. It was like €1 per hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's this main parking lot that is just huge. You'll find parking there for sure. Everybody basically parks there. And then we ended up going to the main thing, which is the Blacon de Europa, and the place where we ate, which was Zaza, and we described that in the video. Yeah. It's definitely a great place. I would highly recommend a stop there.
Sure.
And if you're going in the summer seasons, bring your bathing suit. We didn't have time, but if you walk down to the beach, it looked beautiful.
And the other thing is you can do there is visit the Nerja Caves, which we didn't do, but
yes,
apparently very...
Yes, the Nerja Caves was on our list. It was really high up, but we didn't have time, unfortunately. We'll definitely have to go back for that, for sure. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Then after we jumped in the car and just drove to Granada, and the drive was super easy as described, and we talked about where we stayed, which was the Shine Albayzin. What did you think of that hotel?
Beautiful hotel. I think maybe my favorite of the whole trip.
It had a lot of like character, which we talked about in the video.
Yeah. And what I also loved about it was it had integrated into the hotel was a craft coffee shop.
Yeah, which we didn't really talk about. What was it called again?
Zaza coffee.
Yeah, it's one of the only craft coffee shops there. So it was absolutely a beautiful, beautiful coffee shop and perfect for your morning coffee.
One thing to note is Shine Albayzin is in the old town of Granada, so you can't drive up with your car to the hotel. Yeah. But the hotel had recommended a parking garage to us.
Yeah, and on that note, all the hotels that we stayed at worked in cooperation with different parking lots.
Yeah.
And so you get like a special rate. Like typically the parking lot for Albayzin was like 22 euros per day, but on the rate that they gave us was 15. And we were kind of unsure how that worked, but how that worked was you park your car, you get your parking ticket, and when you check out, you give them that parking ticket and they exchange it with their parking tickets that you pay the reduced price for, and then you can get out that way. And that's how it basically works. So don't fear if you go in there and you're like, what the hell, I'm grabbing a different ticket. They'll replace it with the cheaper price ticket and you can get out. Yeah. And it was super convenient.
And then I guess the main reason why most people go to Granada is to visit La Alhambra, which we did as well.
Yeah, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
It was 19 euros for the main ticket.
Mm-hmm. And no tour. We didn't do a tour, but I don't think you need to.
Yeah, you don't need to if you want to really dive into the history. That could be useful, but I mean, it was just so much more fun for us to just travel around and visit and tour the property on our own.
Yeah.
The main viewpoint.
Yes, it was called Mirador San Nicolas.
Yep, you'll see that we were there at that viewpoint with a lot of people because you get the full view of the Alhambra.
Especially during sunset, I thought it was really beautiful.
Yeah, and then we ate at
Bar Avila for lunch.
Which is packed. It's honestly super busy. Like if you're not there right when you open, you're gonna have to wait 30, 40, maybe up to an hour.
Yeah.
It was worth it though. Food was insane.
And then our two dinners were Bar Tana and Bodegas Castañeda, which we also had in the video.
Yeah, Bar Tana was in the video as well. It was recommended by the late and great Anthony Bourdain, so we went there. It was fantastic. We sat on the side at a high table. It was so great. And then sort of the showstopper of that area is, as she said, Bodegas Castañeda, which was loud, it was obnoxious, but that's what it was. It was so fun. And it was in more of like the older Moorish town part of Granada. And that area at nighttime is just beautiful with all the different lights, and it's super beautiful. Highly recommend going to Granada, for sure.
And then after 2 days in Granada, we drove to Lucena, which is a smaller city in the center. And there we stayed at the Doña Lola apartment. Yeah,
I mean, there's not a lot of hotels there because it's such a small little city, but Doña Lola is like a boutique apartment, well priced, right in the center, sort of in the main area where they serve a lot of the tapas bars. We didn't talk a lot about it because we didn't have a lot of time there in the video, but there's a main strip where all the tapas bars are. And we just picked the one that we talked about, which was Cerveceria El Tonel.
Yeah.
They didn't speak a lot of English, but you can kind of communicate.
Fun.
And it was just so great to just work through the love of food, and you work together to figure out what you want to eat.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fantastic. Yeah. The wine bar that we drank at was El Lagar, which is in the main square, which is super beautiful. And a lot of tons of locals are there. So if you're a photographer and you want to get like that true, authentic locals street style photography, it's perfect for that. Yeah. And it's super small, quiet. There's the main church, which is super popular, and the castle.
Yes.
So there is a few things to do there. I think one of the main attractions of that region is also the olive oil, because that's the main olive oil region that Lucena is in, because it's in the province of Cordoba. Yeah. So I think you could maybe do an olive oil tour, which we didn't do. Yeah. And then we did a little day trip to Cordoba. Yeah,
which again, all the drives are sort of in the 1 to 2 hour range, I would say.
Yeah, really easy to do though.
Yeah. And we parked at the main boardwalk, which was called Parking El Vial. But I would definitely recommend this parking lot, I would say.
Yep, it was a good parking lot. It was like, I don't know, like not expensive for the day.
No, we spent a whole day there, more than 12 hours, I think.
It was like €6.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, Cordoba is a beautiful small town, flowered lined streets, as we said in the video. And as you saw, the main mosque, stunning.
Yeah. And so easy because we bought the ticket right at the entrance with the QR code.
Yeah, you walk up, you scan the QR code, you get your ticket, and you pick your time on the app, and you show up. And that's it, and it's beautiful. You could spend a decent amount of time there because there's a lot of photo opportunities there, for sure.
And I guess what was interesting about that day in Cordoba was it was the only day where we didn't have a siesta because we didn't have a hotel there.
Yeah, and it was crazy hot in August. So during the siesta time, we hit out at the El Cortes Inglés shopping mall for a little bit. And then there's also the Mercado Victoria for lunch, which we showed in the video.
Yeah.
Tons of different types of Spanish tapas and food. It was great. And the main place we ate at was
Taberna La Montillana.
Yeah, I always mess that up.
Which was recommended to us by a friend, and it was really, really awesome.
Yeah, that area had amazing, amazing food.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Cordoba is the bridge.
Yes.
There's the main bridge that you cross, and then you get to see the whole medieval town.
Yes, and especially the mosque.
Yeah, if you go and watch Brandon Lee's video, Passion for Andalusia, he opens up with the scene where he's doing like a gimbal shot, panning across the city from the other side, and you can really see how beautiful it is. And it's one of the shots that I wanted to get at sunset, but we had to drive back, so I wasn't able to get it.
Yeah.
Tons of beautiful and awesome filming opportunities there with a tight maze of streets. It's a city where if you're a photographer or filmmaker, it's a bit of a dream to shoot there.
And then after 2 nights in Lucena with that 1-day trip in Cordoba, we went to Sevilla where we had 3 nights.
Yeah, it was our main stop for the entire trip.
Yeah.
We stayed at Casa de Indias. We talked a little bit about it. Historic hotel. The main thing that we couldn't get across was they had this beautiful rooftop with a bar where you hide out during siesta. They give you table service, cocktails, drinks, and there's a little pool there.
Yeah.
But the pool can only fit like 5 people.
Yeah. So you had to want to be in there.
Yeah, but it was good enough to plunge in and cool off in the heat.
Yeah.
And then
I think there's some main attractions in Sevilla. One is the Plaza Espana.
Yeah, the Plaza Espana.
Which is great for sunrise and sunset.
Yeah, if you're there at sunset and you want to do photos, it's going to be impossible. Yeah. Completely filled. If you go there for sunrise, if you get there early enough, you have some space. We can get some beautiful photos. But literally by about 10:30, it's flooded with tour groups. So it's a little unfortunate, but that's just what it is. It's beautiful and it happens.
Yeah.
And then the other attraction was the Real Alcazar.
Yep. Again, walk up to the ticket window, they give you a time slot, you go in, and we explored by ourselves.
Yeah, and it was super beautiful. That one was probably the most crowded main attraction.
I would agree.
It was so busy.
Yeah.
But there's this huge garden because it was the royal family's home, and they have their huge garden, and they had a farm there. So there were still some animals there.
Yes.
Peacocks and everything like that. And it was really beautiful. For the people who didn't watch the series, keep in mind you need your ID for all these attractions because they do a lot of little ID checkpoints to make sure you are who you say you are.
Which I appreciate, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Plaza de Toros. If you saw the video, you'll notice that we didn't get in because they were building a stage for our end of summer festival. But when you go there, you can go and explore. We really just wanted to explore the architecture.
We wanted to see it.
Bullfighting's not necessarily our thing, but I really wanted to see the bull ring, and I think there'd be some cool opportunities for photos there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to try to go back for that.
And I think one of our favorite attractions in Sevilla is the Setas de Sevilla, which is right outside our hotel.
Yeah, the main hotel that we stayed at had the Setas, and you saw the footage from there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We don't even need to
talk about it.
Yeah.
It was 12 euros to get up. If you go up at nighttime, there's all those little lights. I think there's a couple scenes in the series where you could see like little disco lights, but the sunset was our absolute favorite.
Yeah.
And underneath the Setas, in the evening, during the day it's really quiet, but in the evening it is bustling with people.
Bars and people.
Yeah, there's like 3 bars and a nightclub, and it was just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
The places that we ate was one of the oldest tapas bars.
Or the oldest one?
I think so.
El Rinconcillo.
Poof.
Yeah.
Epic.
Like 16, 70?
Yeah, it was so good. Like we said in the video, the barkeepers are just got this elegance to them. It was so fantastic. The barman, the back bar was the best.
Yeah, in our opinion.
Because it was the traditional one, the small one, and then they expanded it with some more tables.
Yeah.
And then we went to El Pinton, which is a more stylish, like Spanish restaurant that does tapas. It's beautiful. It's open all day.
We had a great sit-down lunch to cool off, after the heat.
Yep, and then we went to two more higher end places, which was Eslava and El Traga. So we had eaten a lot of traditional tapas, so us deciding going to Eslava and El Traga was just a great opportunity for us to try some more elevated tapas experience.
And also, to be honest, at El Traga to sit. Because most of the dinners you're standing, and I wanted somewhere to sit for a change.
Yeah, at some point your feet start to hurt a little bit. All great experiences. There's way more restaurants to go there. I'm sure you'll find something. Oh, one thing that we didn't mention in the video was if you do stay at Casa de Indias, when you walk out the front entrance to the right, I don't remember the name of the bar, but it was this bar that was where all the locals were, and we stopped there for an aperitivo before one of our dinners, and it was just perfect.
Yeah.
The barkeepers were just so nice.
Yeah.
It was such a great experience. If I can, I'll try to make a list of all the places we visited in the description of this video, so you can check it out.
What I remember about that place is don't order una cerveza, order una caña.
Yes, in Andalusia, the proper way to order a beer is una caña. They call it a caña, so it's a more of a medium-sized beer. And when you order it the way they order it, they just light up.
Love it.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. We also went for ice cream at that crema place.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, if you have great ice cream in your own cities, then it might not be something too special.
But I appreciated it.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to check out some flamenco places, but we didn't have time. And there was a couple places that have like traditional free flamenco shows. So I'm gonna include those spots in the description in case you want to check it out.
Yeah.
But then after Sevilla, we were off on our last leg, and it was a bit of a rush for sure, because I really wanted to cram in a lot of these mini villages in the Pueblos Blancos, which is a valley of white villages. We talked about that. And there was like 4 or 5 places you could go to.
Yeah.
There was a cool hike.
Yes, the why can't I think of it? The
El
main
Caminito.
hike. El Caminito del Rey.
Yep.
Yep.
And another white city that was the most beautiful, noted by the National Geographic.
Yeah, it's called Mirador de Montefrio. Montefrio is the city, and there's like a viewpoint.
Yeah, and there's like a little spot on the way where there's like the National Geographic put a little window, and if you put your camera there, you get the perfect shot. And it looks like the Lion King's Ridge. It looks so beautiful. We have to go back. We just did not have time.
Yeah.
Where we did go was Ronda.
Ronda, yes, mainly to see the Puente Nuevo bridge.
Yeah, mainly see that. The city is beautiful though.
Yeah, we were so surprised how beautiful the city
Has the oldest bull ring as well.
in all of Andalusia.
Yeah, and then the other place we went was Setenil de las Bodegas, which is the cave village.
Yeah, built into the...
Yeah, and we talked about it. Yeah, it looked really small. We didn't have a lot of time to explore there again. It's because we really needed to get to our last destination and return the car, unfortunately. So they were quick visits, but then the main stop for the final leg was Malaga, and it was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful city.
Yeah.
The harbor, a party city if you want to go clubbing there. There was a ton of clubs and cocktail bars, and the main eating area was just bustling. It was so busy. And once you get there, you're back in coastal vibes.
Yeah, it was...
We stayed at the...
Homely Malaga.
Homely Malaga, which is kind of just like a, again, boutique apartment Airbnb style. Really nice. We really recommend it. Good price.
Really recommend it,
Newly renovated, super beautiful. And right by there is Kima Coffee, which is a small roaster from Malaga, which I found out is an award-winning roaster in Spain, actually. They roast some incredible coffee.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then we ate at...
Bar La Tranca for dinner.
Yep. I wanted to go to Bodegas Tranca, where the barkeepers and the workers there sing to you. And we accidentally ended up walking into Bar La Tranca, the sister. because I thought it was the same one, but it wasn't. But it was a more cozy vibe. They still sang a little bit.
Yeah.
And you saw in the video how they calculated the bill at the end. Kat loved that.
One of my favorite memories of the whole trip.
Why was that?
Because it is so makeshift. I like when people just do things their way and they're like, yeah, I don't need a digital, I don't need a piece of paper, I'm just gonna write it on the bar and then erase it.
They just tally what you ate. They have a check sheet of what you order of the tapas and then they just calculate it down and that's it. And it's also a bit of a show.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And then the main shopping street
Was Calle Larios, which I was blown away by. It was so beautiful at night. It was lit up beautifully.
Every single city in Andalusia in the evening was just lit up beautifully. It was just like stunning images everywhere. And to be honest, I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought the images coming out of the Leica looked great. It handled the light fairly well in a lot of the scenes. If you watch the series and you notice sometimes there were some scenes that were super noisy, it's probably because I forgot to take off the ND filter, so not a fault of the cameras, it was definitely my fault. But that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about doing a road trip through Andalusia, drop them in the comments. I'll answer as much as I can to help you out. Again, I'll leave all the information in the description. Katharina actually is working on a big write-up for her Substack, and she did all the Google pins for everything, and so it's going to be super detailed write-up. And can you do downloads in Substack for that type of stuff?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out. We'll try to provide you. And with that said, we want to do more of these. We want to do a write-up for our Madeira trip and our Portugal trip. So if you want to know more about some of the places that you've seen on my channel of places we've been through a write-up, let us know. We'll work on that. Thank you for watching this series and showing it so much love. We put so much work into it. Those things are so hard to make, and we appreciate every thumbs up, every like, every subscribe, all that good stuff. So until the next video,
as always,
live passionately
and stay inspired.
Bye.
Bye.